Okay.
All right.
Well, let's get started. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the RLE Technologies Lunch and Learn. We're very excited to get the 2021 Lunch and Learn series kicked off, and we're happy to have Mike Hadt here from RLE, who's going to be sharing with us RLE's wireless environmental monitoring solution. He's going to kind of walk through a demo and show us the product with Steve, as well as RLE's famed leak detection solution. So we're really excited to get into that today. So without further ado, I will pass it on to Steve and Mike, and we can get this webinar kicked off. Oh, and I just want to let everyone know that we will be recording today's presentation, and we will send it in an email to all the attendees today, and we will also get it posted on our website. So thanks for joining, everyone. Let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, Mike Hadt from RLE, which RLE mostly known for leak detection, an incredibly solid product. Mike Hadt is the Midwest account manager, which he is by far way more than an account manager. As far as all the reps and different product lines we deal with, Mike might know his product inside and out more than any of them. Is extremely passionate about it, very helpful with questions, very helpful with demos. If you ever do get to a situation where you want to demo it with a customer, it does almost sell itself. It's kind of a hidden secret. And the wireless technology, the WiNG-MGR that we'll be talking about, I think that will end up helping in an entirely different way, but we'll get that as we get into the presentation and highlight that and demo a little bit for you. So Mike.
All right. Well, hey, the cat's out the bag. It's a secret no longer, Steve. You know, my name's Michael Hadt. I've been with RLE a little over 2 years now in the building automation industry, controls, really solving problems with technology for probably the better part of 14 plus years. And, you know, I'm excited to participate with Jackson Control. Thank you for having me today. And the audience that you've brought together too. We're super excited about the different kinds of buildings, as well as the core types of buildings that we're historically known to help and produce, you know, outcomes for. So, you know, the topics today, kind of how we'll go is to go through a few PowerPoints. We got a live demo of our WiNG-MGR online, and then we got a couple of products that we're going to show off in front of the camera, so you can kind of see some size and scope and scale of what's all there. And then I think at the end we'll have some room for some questions and answers, and obviously we'll be scheduling demos anytime you'd like to see them. So, Steve, I guess let me kick this off first. I mean, why does Jackson like RLE's wireless technology?
Well, I was hoping you could tell me why I should like it. But no, seriously, the wireless technology, what's making it very interesting. So we've been dancing around it for a while, and there's always the question of how reliable it is. But what makes this particular product interesting now kind of goes back to indoor air quality and what is about to happen in buildings. It looks like buildings are about to go sensor crazy. We'll be needing to install a lot of that. In our business, as everyone knows, we always have kind of a manpower installation issue. So if you're installing different sensors, newer sensors, you need to get a window. You need to create an indoor air quality dashboard or any kind of informational dashboard. Do continuous commissioning for a customer, whatever it might be. You know, it would be a real pain to suddenly have to run all that wire. This would allow just something as simple as a 10K sensor to now be wireless sensor without having to buy a specialized one. So it helps, you know, we're thinking it'll cut down on materials, the time to install it, and you know, be able to accommodate getting all these new little inputs attached to our systems.
Well, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at enabling opportunities to solve a problem. And this particular slide we have up is really because wireless has had some bumps in the road historically, and what we're using and leveraging today is our 900 megahertz as well as our Wi-Fi, and internationally our 868 megahertz radios. So what we're looking for, the market that we're talking to today, and others that'll hear this in the future, is really why would you even use wireless? And you know, what we're looking at from an integration standpoint and a problem solving standpoint and a trending and commissioning standpoint is to take a step forward. You know, leverage, you know, wireless to solve a problem. And the questions that we have up is really, what data do you need? What sensors were missed on a low bid? Why do you need it? What are you going to do with the data? Technically, there's typically a hybrid approach with wired sensors as well as wireless opportunities to add additional sensing into those spaces. Everybody loves the installation savings and the time to get it completed. But the big thing that I was asked a while back ago was, RLE's WiNG Manager is a future-proof investment. And I say that because, the obvious fact that it integrates to other automation systems and other enterprise systems, but the scale at which it does is what excites me, and I think the industry as a whole, because out of the box, the WiNG Manager can connect up to 250 wireless transmitters. With a range extender, we're able to connect up to 400 transmitters. So, it's not every day you're going to need to add 400 sensors into a building, but with the scale and the range of capability that you can, it's certainly there. So, I'd ask, what sensors are you missing, and what sensors, if you had them, could impact system optimization to drive the energy savings ultimately that you're after? Critical environment monitoring, as mentioned, RLE's core business has historically been inside of data centers. And, the technology has to work. You can't have false alarms. You can't have comm failures and things like that. So we kind of generated this network architecture just to show kind of the pathway of different ways that RLE Technologies has products that can help you solve different problems in your marketplace. Starting from left to right, we have a protocol converter. I should go back. We have a protocol converter that's able to transmit signals, BACnet, Modbus, and SNMP, swap those around so that you can get those into your enterprise system. Our WiNG Manager is what we're going to heavily focus on today, along with some of our leak detection. But the 900 megahertz, the Wi-Fi, which both of our lines of products are growing due to the market demand. We're super excited about that, and we'll talk about some of the other sensory outputs. We have Steve's favorite, a power fail monitor on the bottom there that's able to identify a power outage in an area and trip a relay. So
you can't see it, but when it's facing away from you, it literally just plugs into a socket on the wall.
Yeah.
And you have a connection. Yeah.
And then, the BMS, the Raptor BMS line, that was specifically built for the system integrators. It's a BACnet MSTP and a Modbus RTU serial connection. There's a wireless BMS wireless. There's a 3-zone, and then there's a BMS 1-wire. All have different application sets, and we'll touch on it in a little bit. But the end goal is ultimately to get a system that's delivering data value onto your existing MSTP or RTU network. We have which we're historically known for. I think there's documented well over 19 million installed feet of our sensing cable globally. Our leak detection's installed in all kinds of buildings all over the world. And, but again, we're built for mission critical. So all the data centers that are out there historically love our leak detection because of a variety of reasons, which I'll touch on later. But we have a whole platform of different systems to be able to drive those outcomes. And then on the right-hand side, there's an F200, which is really our kind of our edge type of a device, which is connected via IP. It can connect temperature, humidity. There's 8 digital inputs. There's leak detection. There's a relay output. There's a user interface. So again, creating migration path and fitting some of these different technologies into the ultimate migration path of that building's lifespan is where I think we play well inside of this space. So all of them, I guess you can see, I don't have to say it, but they are all going to connect to your enterprise. We do have a facility monitoring solution as well, but I know a lot of the folks today have a plethora of different control systems and enterprise systems that they're trying to connect to. So knowing that BACnet, Modbus, and SNMP are standard on almost all of our products, either entirely together or separately, as we'll showcase here in a little bit as well.
Cool. All right. A lot going on here. So summarize everything. Why people would pick RLE. Instead of asking a question, I'm going to give you 3 and let you comment.
All right.
So built for mission critical applications. So your core business has always been data centers. Everything has to work. So hopefully that has been applied to the wireless products as well, which
Absolutely.
it seems like it has.
Yep.
And it's really just reliability and quality. And it seems like a real focus on your core business. Like, it's leak detection, it's the wing manager, and you're going to be really, really good at that, and then make sure you play well with everybody else.
Well, and I think that falls into the future proof as well. Is it's an open integration. BACnet, Modbus, and SNMP. Almost everybody's got some kind of a communication card inside of their enterprise system, and in many cases, you may only need a few of these pieces, sensory points here or there. And what we wanted to do was really enable that outcome and drive towards, what are you ultimately trying to get to, and ultimately what we've identified you're ultimately trying to get to is creating energy efficiency, solving different building problems and issues that exist, but then also delivering the data in an efficient manner that cuts down on installation time and labor costs, so that the end user has the ability to afford more data to drive more sensory system optimization inside of their system without having to having to worry about really the cost, because from a wireless perspective we can deliver it. I think I'm 40 for 40 walking into buildings, and with my wing manager and range extender and a variety of sensors that I typically walk into, and it works every time. It's a complete set of sensors, and the gateway manager, the range extender. We got a variety of different sensors we'll talk about. And then just new to the Wing V2, we just launched a couple of months ago, is security. That's always been a big thing. We've historically wanted to focus on it, and we pulled the trigger on it and had a new board design where we implemented the Wing Manager with HTTPS, TLS, the Star TLS. And a common question that typically comes up is, it IT friendly? Well, it is one-way communication.
Yeah.
So you can't turn something off because of the wireless. We're delivering that data to something else to do that. So one-way wireless communication was a big thing, being the WiNG stands for Wireless Network Gateway. So
I didn't know that.
Little tidbit for you
I
there.
like that.
Yeah.
Seems simple.
And so I guess, Steve, you've been in the business a long time, right? I mean, we won't tell your age. You can probably tell by some of the grades in your hair. You've been stressed out about a lot of things over life and work as a whole. But I mean, wireless has always been an issue, but it's always been desired. Why are your customers asking for wireless?
Well, everybody asks about wireless, and they have the whole time. I think it's a wireless world that we're not in. And I think that is concerning to our customers. It's hard to explain to a building owner who's not in the business why we don't have more wireless stuff, because they're like, everything I own is wireless. So, and you're telling me to buy the best system I can buy, and you got to run wires. And so what's going on here?
Right.
We've been afraid of it. I think as a business, we get in our molds and we want to keep doing it the same way over and over and over. And we want to use the devices we like. So there's always that. Do I have to switch to a new product line or learn something new entirely to go wireless? And manpower, you have indirect costs. You might pay more for a wireless device, but you're going to save in the back end because you don't have to deploy people, which the time is more valuable now than it's ever been, with more work than we can handle. So you put all those together, and to us, getting back to specifically RLE, not having to change the way we've always built a system, not having to change the sensors we use. It's just, instead of a wire, we're now putting in the wireless device and a wing manager and still getting everything we always got. It solves the problem we've been looking for. So
awesome. That's why we built it. It works. Ultimately you need to ensure your building is safe, it's protected. The data that's driving how your building HVAC and your heating and cooling systems are operating. I think you said it best. I mean, we're helping to enable that, but then also now offer different ways to solve different problems, because you don't have to run all the wire everywhere historically you have. And we play nice with everybody. So, the next thing we wanted to make sure to introduce is our Wi-Fi line. The 900 meg. Go ahead and click the next one there. The 900 megahertz always been a mainstay for us here in the States, and the 868 globally. But we had a real demand for Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of folks looking for Wi-Fi today. And, so RLE has built a Wi-Fi temp humidity transmitter. There's a few other transmitters that we're also in development and going to be launching here in the next month or two. You know, with our Wi-Fi leak detection and our Wi-Fi one wire. We'll have a little shameless plug here. In February, we got a webinar coming up here, end of February. We'll make sure you get some info on that. But you know, it sits on the 2.4 gigahertz wireless network. Security again, WEP, WPA, WPA2 encryption. We also have it IPv4. Static IP can be set up onto that, as well as a DHCP. It's just a flash of a second that it comes online, transmit the data, and gets back to the WiNG manager, but then it integrates back to that enterprise system for trending purposes or system control or whatever else. And you know, again, some of the limitations historically around wireless is I mean, the head pounder is battery life. So we've been able to deliver a 5-minute interval transmission and still maintain a 7-year battery life. We use 3.6 volt lithium batteries, so they hold their charge for quite a while until they get ready to die. And then, you know, we also have battery alarms that'll let you know that. So we'll show that as well. But you know, if you did want to extend that life on the transmitter in and of itself, it is configurable from 1 to 30 minutes. We like that 5-minute interval, and I think the building automation community does too. You typically don't want too much time to go before you transmit that data point. You know, and it's not just the IP. Go ahead and click it's not just the IP connected WiNG manager that we have. We touched on the BMS WiNG. Since a lot of our focus right now is on the wireless, this is such a slick, simple product to be able to deploy into any BACnet MSTP or Modbus RTU network. There's no Ethernet connection, which means you typically less dealing with IT. Obviously, you still want to let them know what you're doing, but you know, you don't need to assign an IP address to it. And so this is more of what we would call more of our zone wireless. So we scaled it back, made it a little bit more affordable so that you're still getting the value you need, and you're able to connect up to the 50 of our WiNG sensors and transmitters while still allowing you to gain that wireless intelligence to a lot of that legacy equipment that exists out there. You know, another good use case for this, my colleague Jen has had some success with different commercial buildings, is being able to deploy this device into different commercial buildings with the BACnet MSTP. And if you want to go ahead and click the wireless leak detection. This is a huge topic, especially now with the weather changed as it is. A lot of buildings have piping everywhere that could be behind external walls, above plenums, over, you know, expensive healthcare equipment. I know I've actually sold some systems that were over, you know, supply and return lines over MRI machines. I mean, believe it or not. But you know, space utilization is the next big key phrase inside of commercial spaces, that and how people are moving inside of these different spaces. So fluids damage, fluids cause problems, and you know, with our leak detections, fluids are detected. You know, ultimately, we want to help minimize massive problems and destruction of different property by providing early detection. And again, with a variety of our systems that we'll show as well, with our relay output or connected integrated into your automation system, it's not terribly difficult to make a water valve close, to shut that water off, get the alarm out, shut the water off, make sure that everything's not gushing for 3 days, or, you know, I mean,
You want to know.
you want to know
Yeah,
immediately,
you wanna know immediately.
what's going on.
Things can leak behind a wall for a while before you know it. The other question, I think we've talked about this before. Can you negotiate, send information to your insurance company that you put this in and negotiate lower rates? Is that a misnomer?
No,
that real?
that's a real deal. There's a lot of insurance companies that will either require some level of leak detection in critical spaces that could be expensive damages to fix, or if you're proactive about it, they'll provide some level of discounting due to the nature that you've taken these proactive steps to solve these problems before. Because ultimately, what's the problem? It's your insurance premiums and the cost to fix these problems that you're able to minimize, maybe not completely avoid, but minimize, which is helpful to everybody at the end of the day. So, you know, our sensing cable, you may have seen me twirling around this thing, but this is our sensing cable. It's our patented leak detection cable. And if you notice, the two conductive wires that come out of there is what's sensing water coming across that. We have a variety of cables as well. There's a chemical sensing cable. There's a rodent resistant cable, believe it or not, and then a zero halogen cable. So there's 4 total different cables that help to identify these issues and problems. And it's a quick dry reset. So some of the other systems and cable detection or tape or whatever that, you know, is out there, you have to replace it, or it's only usable once or twice, and then you have to rip it all out and all of that. So you'll notice, if you can see it, it's really big on the screen here, so it's easy for me to see, but there's a beaded thread over the conductive wire, which is providing protection to the conductive cable. Why is that important? It's a patented feature that minimizes false alarms. I typically hear it at least once a month, more than that usually. But anybody that's ever had a leak typically has said, we've had false alarms in the past, so we kind of stopped paying attention to it. Well, guess what? Now you got water gushing from the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor, down to the 1st floor. And now you have to evacuate your building for a month. You know, with all the insurance claims now, your insurance cost goes up. So, you know, it's a patented design that's intended to minimize false alarms, and it works. And we'll show this off here shortly as well. So, so I think the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of show and tell, and log into our demo site, kind of talk through.
Sure.
You got to.
There it is.
Is that, you got to share a different screen, or is everything right there?
Oh no, they can see that.
Everybody sees it live? Cool. Well, here, let me take your mouse.
Oh, sure.
It'd be easier for me to scroll around. So if anybody can't see this, let us know now. Otherwise, we'll be talking to some really cool stuff that you can't see. So our Wing Manager version 2 has, as we discussed, some pretty neat features built into it. But you know what we want to do is, Steve and I, is really help debunk some of those wireless concerns. So I'll just share with you just a few things we want to touch on. But here's the navigation tree on the left-hand side. Your home screen is all your sensors. In this particular scene, you can see we got a variety of sensors here between our wireless temp humidity, our air velocity, just temperature, our analog, which we'll talk about. So that's an analog output of any sensor, 0 to 5 volt, 0 to 10 volt, or 4 to 20 milliamp. We have a differential air pressure sensor, great for getting room pressure inside of different spaces. Our RTD transmitter, any 1000 ohm platinum transmitter. Again, this is where that flexibility comes in. You don't have to change your whole model of the sensors you use and everything else. 10K2 on the thermistor and the 1000 ohm platinum on the RTD. Again, that would be a good one for like a freezer. You know, yeah. We actually adjusted our scale on the RTD to go down to negative 337 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 302 degrees Fahrenheit. The almighty guy that a lot of people are looking for is wireless leak detection. So we kind of stopped this, and this is why it looks like this, kind of red. And actually, this is a good indication. You can see it's still communicating with the age of the data, but we stopped this to show that you can actually, you're getting a value really of how wet the cable is. So in some environments where I've installed wireless leak detection, we've actually adjusted some of the parameters to make sure that, you know, maybe condensation or some other environmental factor that's forcing humidity onto the cable is avoided. Again, the goal to minimize false alarms and get you to pay attention to the alarm if it shows up. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think everybody on the call has probably heard or experienced a leak at least once, which has caused a lot of problems and cost. So you can see 57 UA is what's there. You can see the battery has got a warning alarm, so we liked that. And then, you know, kind of the status of this is kind of in an alarm state. So we'll show that as well. Digital input. So this could be like a door contact, a smoke detector. We use this a lot for like generators and pumps, different things like that. Any normally open, normally closed. And then we're showing off our Wi-Fi sensor as well. So you can see when it's not communicating, again, which we'll touch on. Which, you know, is purpose built. How do I
just click
it? Oh, there we go.
Yep.
So what we're showing is that it's not working. So here you will see some of the other features of setup, and then also like an offline alarm delay you can set up. You can also auto kind of populate dew point. Naming a sensor is about as simple as you'd ever hope. And then here on the bottom with our temp sensors as well, this is a new feature we also added, which is a temperature offset and a humidity offset. So when you go through some of your commissioning, if it's 0.2 degrees off or something that you really want to make sure everything's saying it's on board, then that's a way to kind of right size that value. And then all you integrators that are here right now, I mean, this is gold right here. I don't know if you realize it, but this is all of the sensor objects that you're going to use to integrate these points into your automation system. There's no guesswork. There's no going into some manual that's mythical unicorn that's out there. Everything for every single sensor is outlined, and you'll see all these values change as I click through them for all the integrated points that are available. All right. So the other couple things to debunk concerns of wireless is with our 900 megahertz transmitters. Every sensor also has wireless network sensor
Just checking the health of the wireless.
Checking the health of the wireless network. You know, it's a response signal indicator, letting us know how strong of a signal it is. When you typically start getting down to the -80, -90 dBm, that's when you're looking at possibly using a.
Interrupt you. I was going to ask this anyway, but I see CO2 sensor on this chart.
Oh,
I was thinking of all the other sensors that we can use to connect.
That's one that I think you guys are going to like a lot. Right now we have it set up with our analog transmitter. So again, it's a CO2 sensor, wall input, wall plugged or powered, however you're going to do that. It could be a duct sensor. And what we're doing is taking the 0 to 10 volt output into our analog transmitter and transmitting these radio signals every 10 to 20 seconds. So if I haven't said it already, our radios talk every 10 to 20 seconds in a random fashion to make sure you can see them all changing age of data on the right-hand side. So yeah, I mean, oh, and then it's up to a 12-year battery life. So again, that was the other concern a lot of times people have with wireless is, oh, well, now I got to go run guys around and change batteries out every 2 years. No, you don't. Not with our wireless, which is, well, in my opinion, collectively, all these things put together is what makes our wireless superior in the industry. So that's something I definitely wanted to show off. You know, another thing that I think a lot of folks like, delay on this thing, is the fact that in our new V2, we've integrated a mapping feature. So again, thinking about the life cycle of your building, you may not have this big robust automation system yet. So how are you going to be able to really provide valuable visual feedback of a system without some kind of a graphic? So we've built this into our new V2 model, and all of these points, any sensor that you bring in, you can pull these values into it, place them onto your graphic, and make sure that you have some visual cues as well. So I know a lot of people like that. Getting into system configuration, it's about as simple as you'd ever hope, literally. So IPv4, IPv6 is also available on the web WiNG Manager. And then I also want to make sure to note that we have 2 relays built into the WiNG Manager. Again, do I want to trigger a siren, a strobe, a water valve, something that to be energized to alert, maybe another security system, huh?
Yeah,
security system,
security.
guys, Jackson Control.
Security.
You know, something
Jackson
out.
Control, known for security, nobody's better.
So, you know, there's a variety of ways that that we're looking to provide that level of integration and visibility back to what you're trying to accomplish. Big thing that I also like to show with the WiNG Manager, not that was, well, I will show that in just a second, is version 3. So if you're integrating SNMP, our V3 trap is standard on this device as well. And I may have snuck this in, clicked too soon, but some of the security features, the TLS and the start TLS, you know, those are certificates that you want to put in to validate this is a device that should be on my network, right? And then I think there was one more in here. that I wanted to show. You know, the BACnet. I already clicked this one. Oh, there's your IPv6,
Yep.
your SMTP. Then you have mail recipients. So Rick, sorry if you're going to get a whole bunch of emails here, buddy, but you know, you'd have 4 different email groups that you can send them out to as well. And then under the admin screen, you know, I actually just went the other day and uploaded our firmware. It's as simple as you'd hope. Obviously, standard best practice in any control, right? Anything you do before you change a firmware or update anything, make a backup. You know, how many times you get that issue? I lost everything. I don't know what to do now. Hopefully not too often, but you know, sensors. Here's a way that again, actually, this is a neat thing to talk about too. Our systems are going to come with an auto discover feature that's enabled off, or actually the auto discover is enabled on. So when you get our sensors and you put them on your bench and you start setting them up and connecting them, literally you're going to pull a tab and within about 5 seconds you're going to see this sensor just pop up. So, you know, setup of our system is about as easy as you'd hope as well. So I do like to make sure I share that. Low battery alarm. Typically, a good default is about 2.75 volts. We'll show this off too, how to change you know, the different channels. So there's an A and a B channel in a dense environment, or maybe you have some communication issues. Maybe channel A isn't as good as you'd like it to be, so you want to go to channel B. If you are in a dense environment, you want to really separate out. You know, you have 300 sensors on one environment and another 200 sensors on another environment. Channel A and channel B is a good way to separate that without them coming together and potentially doing some duplication, which really is not a bad deal either. A lot of folks like that because redundancy is a big deal. So again, here's your alarm tab, different users you can set up, your radius, LDAP type stuff, and then certificate. Here's where you're going to go ahead and load your up certificate.
All right.
Weren't we talking about it earlier that a lot of the systems out there, Tritium systems and Honeywell systems that are out there are looking for this?
Certificates are becoming something you need to have that proper handshake and make sure whatever it is you're connecting is going to be allowed in. That's more and more applicable to business. So yeah,
the business side of things.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a nutshell, I mean, I kind of just went through a lot of the majority of the setup and everything and all the features. And as you can see, kudos to the engineering team at RLE. They made it logical, useful, easy to set up and understand, easy to service long-term. And another big thing, let me make sure to say out loud since we're recording this is no license fees. That's
a good point.
There's, you know, once you buy it, you own it. So, you know, sure, we'd suggest making sure that you do regular checks on things, regular firmware updates whenever things come out. But you don't have an ongoing perpetual license fee that you owe to set this type of stuff up. So, you know, as far as our live demo of some of the technology, that's, you know, the user interface we wanted to show. I do have a couple other products that I'm going to show up in front of the camera.
You want to do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Is it time to show?
Did you want to do that?
Stuff?
Was there anything else that, you know, I wanted to cover or you wanted to cover on here?
No, I think we hit it pretty well. I think it's a little understated about how it throws up an engineering guide for you, especially for when we're bringing points into BACnet. I think in all the times we've talked, that might be one of the biggest points.
Right.
Is that
right?
You know, really,
glad I could finally show it on the big screen, Steve, for you to see it, pal.
that's going to be a big deal. Nobody's going to use this thing your engineers made.
Yeah, right. So go ahead and stop that screen. So we'll go and we have a couple of products that we just wanted to showcase because we have a variety of different leak detection systems that exist. So what we wanted to do is just kind of show a couple of them that we had in hand that we can go ahead and make sure that you know about and are aware of. So here's our, let me see, there we go.
There you go.
So here's our LD310 simple leak detection controller. It has the ability to basically connect up to 300 feet of sensing cable. Pop the top off. I don't know if you saw me do that. But I wanted to show, let's see, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't.
It might be clear enough. What are you
Clear
showing?
enough? I don't know. I got a big screen in front of me, but
Yeah, we can see it really good.
all right, good. So here's where you're going to put your your cable input, your leak detection, or a fault output. So that's a leak fault or a cable fault, and then your relay as well. So it's got a relay output, as you'd see with the kit on it. It's also got a status LED as well as a silence alarm. Obviously, if it's going buzzing, you need to talk about it and get it somebody to figure out what's going on. But I like showing that off because it's an easy way to add leak detection into an existing environment where all you need is a relay output. Here's another controller. I like this guy a lot as well. This is our LD1000. As you can see, it's purpose built, ready to mount on a wall. It's a metal enclosure made in America. It's got indicators with power leak fault as well as a cable fault, a silencer here. It's got knockouts. So, wherever, I don't know if you can see the knockouts there. There's a good. So, again, mechanical rooms, above ceilings, below floors, anywhere that you want to have a visible indicator. And this will integrate as well Modbus RTU and has a relay output. I think it's pretty solid to have that. So we definitely wanted to show that leak detection. Here's another leak detection that I think a lot of folks are interested in. This is our wireless spot detection. This also can be connected up to 100 feet of sensing cable. So each transmitter is also addressed and named. So it's kind of like almost wireless zone control, zone leak detection. So there's a couple environments where I've deployed 90 to 100 of these things. Each one has their own cabinet name or room name or whatever. So when you get that email alarm, it's telling you exactly what's going on. And then again, our spot detection, little plug for our spot detection, RLE one zone. It's got the two little leads on the bottom. Both of those leads got to get wet in order to trip the alarm. So these are really good inside of like drain pans or anywhere where water is going to congregate. If it's not going to congregate and you want to really get it connected and cover a larger area, this is a 10-foot cable there. You got that, Vanna?
Yeah.
So you can see,
No
let me get it real close to the camera. You can see the jacketed cable that's going to protect the conductive wires. And at the end of this thing, I'll give a shout out again. I mean, simplicity and speed to installation is some of the biggest things that we can offer to your organization outside of the reliability and the quality of the alarm. But we have these connectors already pre-built. So, I mean, this is our end of line connector, basically to hook it up. I'm done, right? You can zip tie it to a pipe. You can use some things called J-clips that we have available. But leak detection as a whole, I think really delivers a lot of value in a variety of ways. One of our other controllers that we wanted to showcase today as well is our distance read leak detection. So if you can see, we're registering a leak at 154 feet. So you can split this out in a variety of ways. Go kick that thing. We can split this out in a variety of ways. Silence it. Obviously, you don't want it beeping all the time. And the relay output was something we were trying to showcase. And given what today is, we thought this was only appropriate. So
what you can't see is when he moved it to the side to trip all that, he stuck the cord in a pitcher of water, and it went ahead and triggered the relay, and now our little buddy is dancing.
Our little buddy's dancing. God bless America. So some of the other things we wanted to talk about was the wireless transmitters. So this is our WiNG temperature humidity transmitter. Slick because it's so small and simple. There's a couple magnets on there that will allow you to install it on any cabinet. Again, we see a ton of these sold inside of data centers and data cabinets because top, middle, bottom, front, and back, however it is, according to what your desire is, not everybody's always following the ASHRAE standard because of cost and effort and all of that. You should be, but there's a lot of jobs that maybe the cabinet's not full, so you don't have to do that. So, but easy to deploy. One of the things we wanted to showcase as well, talking about the transmitters, was the ability to change how easy it is to change the
channel.
A and the B. So you'll see, here's our little antenna. You might have saw it blink blue. 1, 2, 3. I just changed it from an A to a B channel. Now it's blinking a green light. So simple, easy. The other thing too, we like to really tout our chest about is the simplicity of getting something set up. I talked about the auto discover. When you receive your sensors from us, our transmitters, it's going to have this battery tab. Pull that. You basically just added it to your wireless wing manager. This is our analog transmitter, and I wanted to make sure to show this because there's some jumpers here that are going to allow you to set it up for the 0 to 5, 0 to 10, or 4 to 20 milliamp. And you know, there's a variety of ways to use this, and especially as you saw it on the screen there with the CO2. But you know, Steve, what are some of the other ways you see using this analog transmitter?
Why, to do shameless plugs, of course.
Shameless plug.
So, ionization, IAQ, anything you can think of. So these things, obviously, we've been selling them a lot. If you've been talking to Jackson, you've probably talked about ionization recently. But one of the things this block doesn't do all by itself is tell you when it's not on. So if you use the RLE analog transmitter and like a Hawkeye H922 CT, those are self-powered. You can install the ionization, be well under less cost than the competitors, and have your output to your system connected through RLE, and now you're well on your way to creating your dashboard and making a healthier building.
Yep, 100%. Because ultimately, we want everybody to return back to safe buildings, right? So here's our.
I think your speaker may have gone out. We can hear you. It's just a little bit softer.
Me?
Oh.
Oh, I gotta talk louder.
Yeah.
All right.
When did that happen?
Well, I'll talk loud enough to hear out of Steve's speaker then.
We can still hear you. Okay.
Without doing a whole. There you go. So here's our Wi-Fi temperature humidity transmitter. Again, great to deploy in any environment that Wi-Fi is required. You know, you're basically going to hook up into this little USB jack and then serial connection into your computer, and you're going to basically code it out with an IP address, the interval you want, the IP address, and the wing manager that you're trying to set it up to. Here's the wing manager. If you have not seen it before, I did want to make sure to show it because, you know, American-made quality here. I mean, I like people to see it, touch it, feel it. And again, here's the 2 relay outputs. There's 2 antennas for the A and B channel. There's the this antenna here is really for the repeater, which is a range extender. Transmitters, radio transmitters are going to communicate, you know, 600 feet line of sight through one wall, 270 feet with the radio transmissions. When you go to add a range extender, you can actually add up to 1,000 feet of range capability to send out sensory data to any, you know, back to this wing manager. So, I mean, the scale of buildings in which you can actually connect our wireless reliably is pretty substantial. So, you know, I did want to make sure to show that. And then also, obviously, the Ethernet and the RS-45 so that your Modbus and your BACnet connectivity is available as well. So, like showing some of that featured function. And then the other thing, I like talking about this too, because I think it fits so well inside of your industry. And actually, when I was on a call with Jackson months and months ago, hot water temperatures for heaters was a big conversation and a big deal, right? Making sure, what was it, a 120 to 140 was the range in which roughly
that's good.
You needed to be. So we've used this wing thermistor in a variety of environments to basically allow you extra sensing, maybe downstream from that sensor that's coming right out of your boiler, because it may be going 300 feet away. Is it really reaching 120 to 140 feet degrees that far away? So this is another way to add additional sensing for protection of the water safety from that perspective with a pipe strap sensor, 10K2. We've also used the thermistor here. Shout out to some of my guys here. Many of you are going to recognize this pink bag, but like ACI duct probe would be a great way, 10K2, to add additional functionality into your automation system. Maybe another way to do that is with refrigerator freezer probe, you know, to make sure that you got different, you know, could be in a cafeteria, it could be an MOB that has different medicines in there that, you know, shouldn't be fluctuating in temperature. So, you know, there's just there's a lot of ways to think outside of the box to solve different problems, and you don't have to add all these different technical widgets from all these different manufacturers that exist to pull it into what you're trying to accomplish, which is ultimately what we really wanted to kind of talk about today. How can we collectively use wireless to solve problems, right?
We hit a lot of them.
And I think we hit a lot of them.
You think we should see if there's any questions?
Yeah, let's see if
We
we
only
got any
have
questions.
12
I know
minutes
we've been
left.
talking a bunch here. We got about 10, 12 minutes left. Let's sit next to our USA guy here and see what Nicole throws at us.
Yeah, shoot. Was it 400 devices on a Wing Manager?
Oh yeah, so
400 devices?
great question. So up to 400 devices when you use a range extender with our radio transmitters, and 250 devices out of the box.
Nice. Wait and see if there's any other questions out there. And we'll send information and the PowerPoint to everybody who's attending, right?
Yeah. Well, and hey, I know while we're waiting for maybe a question or two to pop up, Steve, you and I talked a lot about this, and seeing is believing, right? Seeing is believing with wireless, especially. I mean, leak detection, we got a leak going on, and here's our relay to prove it. You know, we'd like to ask if you're interested in trying to connect something, or you're curious if wireless can help you. Talk to the Jackson folks about some kind of a demo kit. We'll work together to make sure there's a package that's affordable for you to keep. Or I know Jackson's got a couple of demo kits that are available for borrowing, or maybe for a small cost, right?
Yeah, we'll go help you sell. It really kind of shortens. It's a short sales cycle for something like this if they don't already have it. So hopefully, you know, it helps your business or your building or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Nothing. Silence.
Questions are pouring in. Thank you so much. We must have really done a stellar job today, Steve, probably answering a lot of the questions that you may have or may thought to ask.
I think you actually might have. I think you might have hit it.
Hey, Mike, can you touch base on the aesthetics? That question has come up a couple of times of the actual sensors.
Sure. So, you know, there's a variety of ways that the sensors are deployed. Today we have a black case around them because years ago that's, you know, again, we've talked about the mission critical environment to where we're well known inside of is data centers. So a black case really is not a big deal. We've done quite a few jobs where maybe aesthetics was something that was obviously more sensitive. So there's two ways that we're solving that today. One is you could order it without a sticker on the front if it was going to sit there. But then the other would be, especially in the, you know, if it's in a specific space where people reside, we've worked a lot with different commercial buildings and schools that'll put like a thermostat cover over them, which from that perspective really is a safety concern anyway, because things get knocked off the wall anyway. So, so there really hasn't been a lot of pushback on that. And I know with the growth we're going to see through this webinar and some of the commercial spaces, we are working on a white cover as well that should be introduced here in the near future as well. So, you know, if you currently have a black cover and would like a white cover, we'll work out some kind of a cost to make that, you know, an affordable swap down the road. So thanks for bringing that up.
Hey, Stephen and Mike, we got Bill McQuaid and Ed Brandt on the phone, and they're working on a very important wireless project right now, 9-story building, I believe. Bill, you just put something in the chat. Bill, why don't you just kind of see if this RLE technology would meet that application you're working on?
Yeah, we're definitely going to consider it. So you know, my first question was, are there any control capabilities in this one application? We want to monitor something and control an exhaust fan. So I didn't know if that was available. And the second thing is, could you go over the difference between the BMS product and the Wing-Manager, or do they tie together somehow?
Yeah. I'll touch both. Thanks for asking. Do you guys hear me any better out of this microphone, or am I still?
Yeah, you're fine.
That's good.
So control capabilities. RLE built the WiNG, stands for Wireless Network Gateway, because we wanted to send data reliably one direction. So from a control perspective, we're really enabling the controller that's existing on site to take our data through the enterprise communication link. Let's call it BACnet MSTP, back to your exhaust fan controller. But we're leveraging that data point through the existing communication network to control your existing controller. Unless you're trying to use the two relays we have, I guess you could leverage some level of relay logic based on an alarm condition, open or close. But the way that we've seen the most success with our wireless technology is really enabling another control system that's, whether it's already installed or, again, adding these points to that communication bus so that that controller can operate without physically having to, be wired back to it. I hope that helps kind of answer the question. But as far as control goes, that was the big thing that I think is a little bit of a differentiator, and really puts us on another level, because we're not providing that two-way communication to turn something on and off. And it opens the doors a little bit more for flexibility, because typically the building controllers already exist. So, if it doesn't, and you'd like, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about your specific application, maybe after this, but the differences between the WiNG Manager and the BMS WiNG. So many of you may know me, but I'm a total dork about wireless technology. I love the IP connected WiNG Manager, because it's got the user interface, it's got all the alarm capabilities, it can do trending. It's got the integrated map, it's got the TLS certificates and all that different security functionality, and all that visibility through an IP address and a built-in user interface. Again, no software licensing on that as well. And then really the BMS WiNG, that was really designed more specifically to add zonal points via BACnet MSTP or Modbus RTU. It does not have the web user interface. It does not have the trending. It does not have relay outputs. Its sole function is to deliver that data onto a communications link so that your control network does the rest. It's kind of almost like a set it and forget it almost type of a scenario that's serial connected, not IP connected.
Okay, thank you.
Is okay. Very thorough. Like I said at the beginning, he's very, very passionate. He knows his product
I get it.
pretty
I
well.
understand it.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's very good.
Having been on the building automation side and distribution for about 8 or 9 years prior to coming to RLE, I saw a lot of the challenges that existed with building automation and the problems that were trying to be solved, and how people were trying to just, add on technology to little things here and there. And the challenges a lot of times with anything wireless that we had was always a battery problem. It was range. It was, how do I know that it's even working? So I think I remember showing the age of the data, which is an integrated point. So that data is always flowing, and if it gets stale, again, that's an alarmable point, as well as the battery. So, these little different things that I always wanted to solve, I didn't realize really existed with RLE until I was there and I started playing with this technology, and I said, this is everything everybody wants. So, let's make sure they hear about it. So, it's been fun to talk about, and really, quite honestly, it's been fun to bring to market because of really how well it works.
We've got 3 minutes. If there are any other questions, please go ahead and ask them. I got Mike's contact information up on the screen. If you want to take that down, again, you'll get the presentation afterwards.
Hey, Steve, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
AMS has an application here, a big production facility, and we wanted to go over the distances again real quick, with and without the repeater, and if you need more than one repeater to go a certain distance, or
Sure.
So big metal pole barn, a lot of production equipment, cooling towers on the opposite side of the plant. And we're considering this product so we can monitor sump temp and stuff like that. Could you speak about that distance limitation?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for considering us to be added to that project and the opportunity. So the transmitters in and of themselves, as I shared with you, these guys here and the whole subset of different transmitters, they're going to communicate every 10 to 20 seconds. They're going to have a battery life of up to 12 years. And the range is line of sight, which again, nobody's ever line of sight, but documented, it's 600 feet. And then through one wall, it's 270 feet. There's a manufacturing facility that I actually set up a variety of our wireless leak detection. It's a canning company in Northern Ohio, actually. And they had this big, thick brick wall on one end that had these really nasty chemicals that they were needing to protect the space because it'll eat away everything if it touches it. So what we actually did was set up the WiNG-MGR in the middle of the plant. There's a control room in the middle of the plant, and just strategically placed 2 range extenders on both sides of the plant. So what we were able to do was easily grab data from, again, up to 600 feet line of sight, and then the range extender will communicate up to 1,000 feet line of sight to the WiNG-MGR. So, I mean, if you got a sensor a couple hundred feet away talking to the range extender, and the range extender is talking 700 feet away, I mean, you easily got, close to 1,000 feet of range capability. And again, I'm just kind of buffering a little bit there, but I've seen our wireless work in environments that I never thought it would work in, just because you don't know until you see it to believe it. And I'd be totally ecstatic to share with you a demo kit, or make sure that we have something to send up to you to prove it, because nobody wants to install anything unless they've proven that it'll work. So happy to work with you on that. But ultimately, the canning organization that set that up was also using our digital inputs for kind of a unique way. It was a pneumatic valve that was, either open or closed, and it was directing scrap to different areas. So, wow. I mean, you wouldn't think to use something like that way, but it was either open or closed. So a door contact with our digital input wireless transmitter was giving them everything they needed to know, which was how long am I directing, is it going to area A versus area B? And it was a trended point as well. So, they eventually integrated all of that into their PLC. But, again, the nice thing is it's, leveraging technology as a migration path to solve different problems was something that was exciting to kind of share with them. So does that help answer your question around range and scale?
Yeah, that's exactly what the type of information we were looking for. Thank you.
Great.
Perfect. If there isn't anything else at the moment, we have hit 12 o'clock, almost on the nose, which is when we're supposed to be done, and let everybody go back to their days.
Thank you, everybody, for your time today. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to share with you more about RLE Technologies and ultimately how to solve problems with some of our technology wirelessly and leak detection as well. Oh, hey, before I go, hot new product on the market. You guys are going to get, if anybody jumped off already, forgot to share with you. So our core business is data centers, right? So, our floor tiles, we've got a raised floor line, but if you see this, there's a bracket on the bottom here. All right, this is what you're mounting your wireless transmitters to and your sensors, which again is a big issue inside of these spaces, because as you can see, this thing's heavy. I mean, I know I'm strong, but this little window here is where the wireless is going to get out, so that you can reliably get wireless from under the floor, whether you have your wireless leak detection transmitter, your air velocity, your differential air pressure, whatever it is you may have under the floor. Easy way to get this set up and get a sensor under the floor. So just a hot new product we had. I'm taking it out to another site, and I said, you know what? Let's share something new and exciting nobody's seen before since I had the stage. So
all right.
Appreciate you guys listening.
Thank you so much, Mike, and thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, Nicole, for the intros, and we'll see you next month, hopefully. And the link to this presentation, the presentation itself, Mike's contact information will be coming to you shortly.
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Oh my gosh.